There we go.
Thank you. Okay. Okay. At any rate, I did want to make some small report here, so let me see if I could stop this share and share something else. Hang on. Okay. So I want to say that I've been happy that two of the people in this group have pitched in to do some measurement of these green plots, Doppler plots. So that's Gary McKeaton and Greg Popoulos. And so I put that all in a spreadsheet, and we have 74 or thereabouts green plots. So it's not that many people, because some people have 8 at a time, but there are some individuals as well. And they are all over the United States. So one of the things I could show you, do you see some graphs now?
Yes.
Yes, okay. The ones that make the most sense are down at the bottom here. Oops. So here I have 2 graphs. These are the only ones that are straightforward and meaningful. They are latitude and longitude, unfortunately turned sideways. But the one on the left is the receivers, where they are in the United States. The United States is a blob kind of around where these points are. And then the picture on the right is the mid-path latitude and longitude between each of these people and either WWV or CHU. And what it does is it just makes it smaller. So it's the same picture, smaller, because they're closer. It's a midpoint, it's not a whole thing. And that's the one that makes some real sense. But then we have others that make no sense at all. So if we look up here. So here are some of the other graphs. So the first 2, left and right here, are the number of modes, that's the number of threads seen, versus the distance from the transmitter to the receiver. So that's from WWV to ACOG, whatever, or whatever the ones are. And so I found this one on the left to be disconcerting. It was not what I was expecting at all. I had been told that if you have a distance that's small, then you only get 1 mode, and you have to get to some skip distance, and then you begin to get 2 or 3 modes. But no, it appears here that the number of modes, 1, 2, or 3, goes all the way down to essentially 0. So I think the closest person was 24 kilometers from WWV, and he got all 3. I don't understand that at all. So that makes no sense to me. Then there's the one over here, the number of modes versus frequency. And except for this one peculiar one where it was a total mess and there were six modes, all threads all over the place. The others are kind of nondescript, so that didn't help at all. Does anybody have a feeling for should there be more threads or more modes at higher or lower frequencies?
I have some feeling about that.
Speak it out then.
Okay, so higher frequencies are going to be more likely to escape the ionosphere, and lower frequencies are going to be more likely to be absorbed. So when you have a weaker ionosphere, you might have, if you're at a higher frequency, you might see less modes because some of them are escaping. If you have a stronger ionosphere, a stronger D region, you may have less modes because some of the lower modes are being absorbed.
So this would make sense that the 6th one is a real thing. And you'd expect more modes to be at the middling frequencies.
Yeah, it's the sweet spot.
Okay, the mid part.
It's the Goldilocks effect. This one is just right.
So the mid frequency is the sweet spot. Does that make sense to anybody else? Where's Gareth? We lost him.
Sorry, just multitasking. No, Nathaniel's explanation sounds about right to me. I would agree with it.
Okay. So there are there are only two spots here which lie above the general group of spots, so those two would be interesting. Look up something else about them. Okay. And one of them turns out to be looking at WWV. The other one turns out to be looking at CHU, because you have the 14 and the 15 frequencies very close together there. Okay, so that makes some sense. All right, then we look at, next group down. So here we're looking at symmetry versus various things. So the left-hand group is our judgment of symmetry, ingress to egress, versus distance. And we had thought originally that if you have a very large distance between the transmitter and your receiver, then you have lots of time for things to get messed up and there would be less symmetry. Well, maybe, but not convincingly. Anybody have an interpretation of that left-hand one?
Symmetry versus distance transfer to RX. So one is the most symmetric and zero is the least symmetric?
Correct.
Well,
I
which way
don't-
are these distances? Is it all to the east of the transmitter?
No, I could sort them by east and west. That is something we did record.
That would make a difference.
Why do you see east and west should make a difference?
Well, this is during the eclipse, is it not? The
Yes.
eclipse was well to the east.
So we could also sort them on whether their path crossed the eclipse or not. Mostly it did
Right.
not, because the eclipse is pretty far east. Would
Well,
that be?
we've got a mixture of WWV and CHU here as well, so the CHU muddles it
Yeah,
a little bit.
those are going to be completely different.
David,
CHU is
David,
near
do you
the
think
path.
what would be good to sort them by first? What do you think?
Well, I'd certainly discriminate by, shall we say, distance to path of totality.
Distance from who to what? Say again?
Well, this is distance from transmitter,
Right.
but
What would be a better thing to measure?
well, at the very least, you need to have a plus minus distance so that you have distance away from transmitter and distance away from eclipse and towards eclipse. Given the path of the
I
eclipse
didn't
and
understand that at all. Say again. You have the map of the United States, the eclipse is
well,
every-
you've got the transmitters in Colorado.
Yes, let's just say,
So
we-
things to the west of that are not going to show much at all.
Right,
And a very different effect on anything that's any receivers that are to the east, especially those that are farther than the path of totality.
yes, so we have a column
So
of
I'd
this.
at least separate
Does
those.
the path go through totality or not? Yes or no? We have that. Do you want to do that one? I could do that. Yeah. Doesn't seem to make much difference, but that's one of the things to do. And then the one on the right-hand side here is the symmetry versus the frequency. Doesn't seem to show much of anything. There's just a big scatter. And I think those next ones are the, so here's one that you were really just asking about moments ago. Symmetry on the y-axis versus the mid-path maximum obscuration. So if the path goes through totality, you get a mark of 100% at the bottom here, bottom right. And all the ones to the left of that, the path does not go through totality, but goes through some percentage of darkness. So some of them, it got 90% dark, but not total. I thought that there would be, I expected that the ones at 100 here would be much higher or much lower or somehow differenter, but they're not differenter. They're just in the mush with all these other points.
And you're talking mid-path total, which there won't be very many stations even to the east that are going to be mid-path total.
About 10 of them there. There's a fair number that
Are you
And-
measuring it? Are you saying that's anywhere along the path or actually halfway between?
the halfway point between mostly CHU and somebody in Georgia, that point falls on the
Okay.
path of totality, that little 4-minute path there.
Okay, well, so these are CHU, not WWV.
They're both of them, but the there are more 100% more totality looking at CHU from the East Coast up. Because if you're looking from anywhere in the United States toward WWV, your midpoint is somewhere in I don't know, Missouri or somewhere, and very rarely do you get, so you can't get close enough to WWV to really make it happen much. It's mostly CHU. Anyhow, somebody else wanted to say something, right? Get back to me your thoughts if you have it, or tell Gary and he'll tell me. Thank you very much. There we go.
Great, thank you, Mary Lou, because there's a lot of work that's been done and a lot to do yet, though, but we're learning as we go along. It's interesting.
If anybody else would like to help on this endeavor, I can send them a list of keystroke instructions. Do this, do that, to this, write it down. Do this, do that, and write that one down, is what we've done so far. And could use some help on that. It's tedious.
Can you send me that, Mary Lou, please?
Sure. Thank you. So what do you got for AGU, Nathaniel?
All right, great. Hi, everyone. Let me share my screen here. So are you seeing AGU abstracts or?
Looks like an abstract. HamSCI, Festivals of Eclipse Ionospheric Science, creating international community.
Wonderful. Okay, so we have a number of HamSCI abstracts going to the American Geophysical Union meeting that's going to be held this December. The abstracts are due this January. I'm personally
No, they're due quicker than January.
they're due July 31st, so this coming Wednesday. So I'm submitting 2 abstracts related to the HamSCI eclipse where I am the first author. And I would like to ask for your help with these abstracts. So the 2 abstracts I'm submitting, one is going to be, let's see, that's not it. One is entitled Results from the 2023-2024 HamSCI Festivals of Eclipse Ionospheric Science and What Comes Next. And this one is focused on the results of the HamSCI Festivals of Eclipse Ionospheric Science and a very top level overview of the entire program. The other abstract I'm submitting is entitled HamSCI Festivals of Eclipse Ionospheric Science, Creating an International Community of Volunteers to Study the Ionospheric Impacts of the 2023-2024 North American Solar Eclipses and Beyond. And this one, we're going to focus more on the community that we have built and how we actually pulled all of this off. So one is more focused on the results, the other is more focused on the community and how we did all of this. And I went over both of these abstracts this morning at the Grape Telecon, and we spent quite a bit of time looking at this results abstract. We spent less time looking at this one about the community abstract. And so I was hoping we could do is I could put this on the screen now and might be able to flesh it out a little bit more and make some additional changes. So the abstract is to study the ionospheric impacts of the 14 October 2023 annular and 8 April 2024 total solar eclipses that traverse North America. Members of the Ham Radio Science Citizen Investigation HamSCI conducted an array of science experiments known as the HamSCI Festivals of Eclipse Ionospheric Science, FOEIS. These FOEIS experiments, which were designated and executed by a collaboration, were designed and executed by a collaboration of thousands of volunteers, students, and professional researchers, generated a wealth of observations with unprecedented temporal, spatial, and spectral coverage. In this presentation, we discuss the process of building the type of community and environment needed to make HamSCI and the FOEIS a success. This process includes identifying and inspiring interested collaborators, providing them with sufficient structure to ensure good science, while also allowing them the freedom to be creative, take leadership roles, and become vested in the project. We also show select results from the FOEIS experiments. So the floor
Put the we back. Put the we back in.
Which we?
In this presentation, we discussed the process.
Okay, in this presentation, we.
Yes.
Okay.
Nathaniel, do we want to say anything as to why we use the word festival, or is that just kind of immaterial to what we're trying to accomplish?
I don't know. That's a good question. We called it Festivals of Eclipse Ionospheric Science, I'd say, because we're trying to say this is something that's a bit fun and
Right.
special, and also because it's more than one thing happening, not just a single experiment.
And I understand that because I was part of when we were doing that. I'm just wondering for the paper if anybody would be asking themselves in the science paper why we called it a festival, or if that's just really not material to what you're trying to accomplish and doesn't really matter. It's just an interesting word that might stand out to somebody that wasn't part of this.
I think it's certainly something that might be worth me mentioning as provided I'm giving an oral presentation or even a poster. It would probably be worth mentioning it. I'm not sure if that fits in the abstract or not.
And it may not. I wasn't necessarily speaking of the abstract. It just that one word stood out. And maybe I'm just being too minutia focused. So
no, it's a good comment. And it may fit in the abstract. I just haven't figured out how or if it should but
well, to your point, it might be better in a poster or an oral or something like that. I know when I've done some presentations that the reason I bring it up is because people will ask me, I'll be going along and all of a sudden they'll stop me and they'll say, why is it a festival? And I'm like, well,
what answer do you give them then? Just it's fun?
Well, I actually probably made this up myself. So, but I told them, I said it was, we did it because we wanted this to be something that was like a celebration of bringing ham radio operators and scientists together. And because it was a group of a whole bunch of different things like you would have in a festival of different components that were together. So that's been kind of my standard non-approved definition when I've been asked.
Well, I approve it. So I think it's as good of an explanation as I would give.
All right.
In the second from the last sentence, this process includes identifying, inspiring, and so on and so forth. is there, it would be appropriate to mention the, I don't want to say the publicity efforts, but the outreach to both, the outreach to the general community to, because we pulled a lot of people in, say, to the QSO parties that weren't necessarily part of HamSCI. We got.
I-
type of thing.
Yes, I completely agree. I
Yeah,
think
because
this is,
there was a lot of communication and different ways of getting it out. So
yeah, I completely agree.
I think the word outreach should go in there somewhere. This process includes outreach and identifying and inspiring people.
oh, that's a good word. That's a good
Outreach.
concise word.
Public relations, Let's
That's
see.
not right. No, outreach is the word.
outreach.
I don't think I do more than that in the abstract personally, besides
Yeah.
outreach.
I mean, it was almost outreach to the, well, again, it may be too detailed, outreach to the general ham radio community, but again, that can fit into the presentation part.
Yeah,
because Gary, aren't you kind of saying that when you say interested collaborators in a way, you're kind of saying the same thing?
Hmm.
Well, yeah, we did inspire people, and then there's how we inspired them, so it depends what's appropriate here.
Yeah, okay.
Something that you might want to add to this is the specific way that you cultivated crossovers. For instance, people like me who had been out of the ham community for a long time and in the science community to cross over and get back into ham, the ham area. So I think that, and the other way too. And I think that that was a major part of getting the community built up and real science done.
special efforts were made to connect participants across disciplines and skill sets, and
Would backgrounds be a good word or not?
Yeah, that's a good word.
and background.
Yeah.
Does that address what you were suggesting, Bob?
Yeah, because I think that through the that first HamSci conference, all the way building up to the eclipse, that's what you were doing in a lot of cases.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Question.
Yes.
Do you think that it would be appropriate to somewhere in the abstract mention the approximate grand total number of data points that were collected from across North America and the world? In other words, we're not just saying that, we did something, but when people read the abstract, you're giving them a number that they go, oh, wow, this is something I want to read more about, or a session I want to attend to hear more about how they gathered this much data.
After wealth of observations, parentheses, 15 million gazillion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, Gary was just asked for that specific information from the NASA program officer, right, Gary?
Yep, that's for sure.
This McDonald. So can we put a specific sentence in there? Like,
Well, I think you already got it from Mary, gazillion.
a gazillion. Well, I have the word thousands over here, thousands of volunteers, students, and professional researchers. Yeah, I was a bit fluffy when I wrote this morning because there's a lot going on, but I know Gary does have actual numbers that maybe we can put in a specific sentence.
a proposed, just, I'm thinking out loud now, and this is just a proposal as a starting point of version 0.1 of the comment of together these ham radio operator or these amateur radio operators gathered 57 million data points. Is that the right number? Yeah, gathered, approximately 57 million data points from, or rather, across the radio frequency spectrum, and from across North America and the world.
Or you
Maybe
could also say that this collaboration yielded 57 million, and then you're kind of incorporating everything, and you can expand it later. Just another
Yeah.
thought.
Gary, do you have some of those numbers that from your reporting?
Yeah, the number of participants I sent to Liz in 2023 was roughly 4,500 in 2023. That's the total number of amateur radio operator participants. And in 2024, it was like 6,350.
So that's the number of participants.
Right,
So, I
that's
mean,
the people. So that was the people who submitted logs or made a QSO in the QSO party in the GSSC. They
How
were
many
entrants.
how many data points do we have?
What counts as a data point? If you have one of these green Doppler shift spectrum
Yeah,
things, that's a lot of
and-
data points right there, each one of them.
It makes it is actually very hard to quantify, give a useful thing. I mean, one thing is we can just take the raw number of spots and we can say this many over like 6.8 million observations were observed globally during the event.
Well,
I mean, we've been
because, or something like, what, over 57, what was it, million log entries were.
I mean, Bill Engerke's been working with the 52 million number for the Madrigal project, right? At least that's something we can back up.
Yeah.
Well, didn't you have numbers too for like the number of entries for the reported by
Yeah, I'm trying to find that.
Yeah, the point here is we can I would propose Gary, if or if one of the other guys there would just put some numbers in there, take it offline, put some numbers in there, and we can review them either by an email blast or at the next meeting. Do it that way and fine tune it there. My thought is, in the abstract here, if you give them some, just one or two, maybe three really big numbers that are enough to grab their attention and get them to want to read more detail in the document or attend a presentation about to get more information, but you're grabbing their attention and saying, hey, pay attention. This is really cool.
Yeah, I agree. So yeah, maybe either Jay and Gary, maybe you could work together to put a sentence in. I'll send you this. I'm planning on submitting this on Tuesday after we review it one final time on Monday night's Telecon.
Okay.
So
yeah, if I can act as a reviewer. I don't have access to I don't have time to go researching the actual data, but I'd be happy to act as a reviewer and commentator.
Okay,
Okay.
I'd like to make one comment here.
Mhm.
You have a
Comment
sen-
away.
Thank you, Jeff.
But
You
wait,
have
wait a
one-
minute. Now, what language are we starting on here? You got to put the appropriate comment. What is it? C that /* and comment / or double slash.
Oh,
What
stop that.
language are we
Just
doing here
stop
to
it.
indicate this is a comment?
There are many, many different languages. Glub, glub, glub. All right, so there's one sentence. These experiments, which were designed and executed by a collaboration of thousands of volunteers. All right, thousands brings to my mind one thing, but if we say tens of thousands, it's another whole magnitude up, and that's what it was. It was at least 10,000, right?
Can we say that? I feel like that might be pushing it.
Put tens of thousands right there.
I don't know. Do you think? I feel like that might be exaggerating a little bit.
Well, I just heard 4,500 and then 6,300, which
Yeah.
adds to 1080.
But I will bet there's a big crossover.
And
the
many of them are
4,500
duplicates, right? Okay.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of duplicates in there. I think
Thousands is fine.
if I feel like I can back up thousands. I feel like if a program officer comes and pins me to a wall, I can provide numbers for thousands. I'm not sure that
You could give them their addresses or something like that. Yes. Okay.
yes, I feel like I can give lists of people and be like, look, here's how we're justifying this. So like tens of
That's
thousands.
fine. I forgot about duplication. Yes. Sorry. I withdraw that.
That's okay.
Yeah, and could we also, is any of the data, can we quantify any of the data from how many logs or data points were collected from outside North America? I'm thinking, Europe, Asia, South Pole, any place outside of North America where we can say that we got data from. Is there any way do we have any capability or to quickly and easily gather information like that in round numbers or approximate? If not, then let's just go with data gathered across North America.
Yeah. I think we do have some of that. I think we're running low on time here. So I think what we should do, Gary had sent me a report to me and to Liz McDonald a couple of weeks ago with some of this information. So I think over the next few days, if I have a chance, I'll try to dig that up, or if Gary has a chance, he can dig that up, or maybe Monday night at the Tapper Telecon, we can dig that up. But I think I know what you're going for, Jay. So I can try to look for that.
Yeah.
I think
we
we're already
don't have,
we're
we
past
don't
5
have to
o'clock
go
right
into
now.
mind-numbing detail. The detail of, we got this many from Alaska, this many from Florida, one from Australia. That we don't need that level of detail.
Right. So before we wrap up today, this is the one other thing I wanted to go over. This is the author list. So we made up this author list this morning. If you do not see your name on here and you think you should be on here, please tell me and I will be happy to add you. I think, Jay, I don't think you're on here yet, so I can add you. So, and same with Ron Wilcox.
And just for the record, I see a Laura Schwartz on there, even though we spell our names the same, no relationship.
Okay. So, that's
Is Greg Populus on this?
who?
Greg.
I don't think he's on here, but we can add him.
Yeah, because he's been helping quite a lot on this spreadsheet thing.
Okay, great. So let's see. Schwartz said this is in some sort of alphabetical order, actually. So I can add Jason SCHWARTZ. So I'm putting you as a HamSci member.
Yeah, and if that's referring to me, Jason is not my name, or unless
Is it
there's
actually,
another.
is it just Jay?
Yes,
Ah,
Juliet
great.
Alpha Yankee.
All right. And then Ron, you've been with us the whole time here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And and it's nice to be back. I've been off for a couple of months. I was given some significant responsibilities at work and took on all the bariatric surgeries for the state of Utah on top of my other responsibilities. And so I have been just, you know, the saying, swamped with training classes and new responsibilities, and just now kind of getting back into the swing of things. It's kind of nice to see everybody again, but it's been some significant things at work for this old man.
Yeah, that sounds like a heavy lift.
Yeah,
Good
it
to see you
was.
too.
On top of everything else that I was doing, it was, and of course, I got a ton of thank yous and praise from the higher management with no increase in pay or hours. And so it was a very, very rewarding experience, and it's I now have it permanently. So,
I think your pay started at 0, and with all these extra responsibilities and presentations, they doubled your pay every time.
yeah, that's pretty close. All right, I didn't want to take away from the group, but I've been away for a while. And I just quick explanation, and nice to be back. And in 2 weeks, I finish all my classes and training and surgical stuff. So I'm looking forward to getting back kind of active again. But anyway, sorry to hijack it.
That's okay, Ron. How do you want your name here?
I think Ronald Wilcox is perfect.
Great. And then we can do Greg Populus, right?
Yes.
Gregory Populus. All right. And all right, so then that means when I send this out, to send out the updated abstract.
Nathaniel,
Why?
this one's of particular interest to me. If you have anything else that I could add value by reading or looking at, or not necessarily proofing, but just looking at and giving thoughts on her stuff, please feel free to send it my way or use me. Okay.
Thank you, Ron. Let's see. So let's see. I've got Jay Schwartz, Hopeless, and then we added Ron KF7ZN, right?
Yeah, if you want to put my call sign in, that's great. Whatever you
I'm
think
just
is
looking for
best.
your email. So I'm adding
Oh,
you to
my
this.
email is rglogan73@gmail.com.
Yes, I got that. Okay, great.
Okay.
So we've got that. And yes, we'll be very happy. I think so what's gonna happen now is once we get this all submitted, so I'll submit this on Tuesday, then Tuesday. Then in a couple months, we'll probably find out that I'm likely to have a talk for this one because it was that's an invited abstract. Then I'll work on putting together the talk, and we can all review it and give comments on the presentation before I actually give the talk.
When and where will the talk happen?
It's going to happen in Washington, D.C., the week of December 9th, I think.
Ah.
So,
Wait a minute, there was the newest operator there. Yep.
That's good.
A little young to hold a soldering iron, but hey.
Yeah.
Or she can handle a straight key, all right.
Yeah, no soldering yet. Nah.
No soldering. So, yes,
Well,
fall.
maybe the first harmonic can be her Elmer.
So it's the week of December 9th through 13th in Washington, D.C. Okay, so I think that's it for here. So anyone else for the co-author list here? So I will send the updated ones out again, and I'm planning on submitting these on Tuesday. I think I had better go for now because I have to go.
And I'll look forward to the draft here for reviewing either tomorrow or this weekend.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
guys.
Bye, everyone. Have a great day.
73,
All
all
right,
take care. Stay
73 all.
safe.
Great.
All right, see you later. Hey, Gary, are
Thank-
all of the past HamSci, are these on the I can find them to